Hello everyone and welcome. I'm going to launch a new series called Connectagram, where I've got a software program called Connectagram. I'm going to do puzzles from that using initially a beginner word list and then expand out to some intermediate words. So the game gives us letters, words that are all jumbled up, and our job is to switch them around and make the right words. So this one would be novel. I haven't seen this before, so I don't know exactly where it is. I'm going to go through and figure it out. And I originally thought of, do I do it knowing what each of the words are and then script a word for it, or do I do it off the cuff? And then eventually I just said, well, let's just go and do it off the cuff. Let's put something out there, put it out unlisted until I'm happy with it. So, yeah, well, let's see how we go. So, draft. So the dictionary at the moment is around about 5,000 words. I've got a larger one with about 30,000, I think. And 30,000? Yeah. Anyway, so I'll keep going through it. So the game does let me give some hints. So now that I know this one's going to be here, it's going to be rhyme and imply. As well, I just want to note, compared to the other setup, that this one I'm using a different noise setup, so it might cut off some of the starts of the words and they might sound a bit different. So I'm going to go through and look at the subtitles after it and try and make them match up and put stars or brackets next to it for words that don't quite sound right. Bride and groom got married. Board, I believe this one's got broad. So yeah, there might be, no, board is in to hop on board a ship is not going to be able to work because the O has to be in the middle. So broad. The review of the company's performance was very broad. We didn't look at anything specific. We looked at everything. So, it looks like this is going to be radio. So listen to the radio of an afternoon, several different stations. My favorite one might have played rock. Lower. The cargo ship had its bays open for equipment to be lowered into its hold. Cycle, I believe. Cycle could be one of two things. You could refer to the act of someone being on a bike and riding from place to place, or you could go through a build cycle where every 6 months the software development firm might release a new version of software, and then at the end of the 6 months they'll start again on to the next one. Cabin, I think this is going to be. Hop into the cabin of a ship. So that finishes up this one. I'll go up and bring another one up next. Okay, so I'm going to stick with the 5-letter words for the moment. This one was smoke. Smoke coming from a bushfire, or there might be someone who says they'll go outside and have a smoke, meaning a cigarette as well. Knock. You might have a knock on the door. This is going to be board. I was saying before that broad isn't available, but now we've got board, so the conductor asked everyone to hop on board the train. And river. The river flows from the top of the mountain down to the ocean. Virus. So my computer got a virus and I had to reinstall all of the software for it. Queen. The queen is the most powerful piece on a chessboard. Exist. I'll try and use sentences for each of them, but may not be able to think of all of them off the cuff. I do plan on doing these as live streams, so I might have people interact and then provide suggestions for some of the harder words as well. And if they want me to ask and say some certain words, I'm happy to help out as well. Yacht. The yacht didn't sail very fast because there wasn't much wind to push it along. Though one of the big annual events that happens in Australia is the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race, and they ended up doing it, I think, in under 2 days or something like that. If you get a chance, have a look at the start of the race because the wind was blowing from the northeast. It was, I saw snippets of it, and they had to tack, which means that the ships can't go directly into the wind against the wind. Your motorboats can, but your yachts can't. So they'll go to the side and then to the side. And because they had to get out of that, they had to make several different turns. And some of the ships got very close to each other, almost had a collision that could have sunk them. And then because it was blowing from the northeast, as soon as they got out of the Sydney Heads, the entrance to Sydney Harbour, they went very, very fast and down there. So the wind was at their back the whole time. So I'm back to the game. Cloth. Style. So there might have been a certain style of haircut that has gone in fashion or come out of fashion, or a certain style of clothing that maybe double-breasted blazers are in, or something along those lines. Interesting Australian type of haircut is a mullet, where you deliberately let the back of your hair grow longer. And dusty. Yeah, because of the dirt was very dry out on the farm, all of the tools in the back of the ute got dusty. Model. So you've got a model train, and it's much smaller, but it lets us see how they work, and maybe a model engine as well, particularly for mechanics. And I'll wrap this one up because I want to go through, make sure that I can do the subtitles and just do them, add extra words, and there's a way for me to be able to get used to presenting. So I'm going to finish up here and upload. So if you've got any questions, comments, any requests, let me know. I'll see about doing live streams of this, and I've got something special planned where I'm going to see about doing some jigsaw puzzles as well, and do those as a live stream as a very casual way to be available if people wanted to help with pronunciation, or even see about having practice conversations in the chat. So I won't be able to hear people, but I'll certainly be able to respond, and you'd get to hear what at least one side of the conversation. Okay, well, thank you for watching.